Hey there, and welcome to Ready Set Jam, a game design competition where we bring together a group of game creators to compete in a series of game making challenges. Over 3 rounds, they'll create projects that will be played and rated by the community and our panel of judges. At the end of each round, the designer with the lowest score will be removed from the competition until there's only one dev left. This is the final round of the first series, and it's been a great competition so far. In the first round, our designers took on the challenge of the classic game round, where they had to recreate or reimagine the game of Pong with the twist of power-ups. Then, in round 2, which we call the scope creep round, our contestants took the game they made in the first round and updated it to add in a skill tree. We had no eliminations the first round due to a last-minute drop by one of the competitors. And in the second round, we had to say goodbye to Neenaw, whose game was really cool but sadly just didn't make the judges' cut. If you've missed either of these episodes, there's a link up top if you'd like to check it out. But before we jump into the final round, let's take a look at our remaining 2 contestants and what they've made so far. Tantan is a game dev and video creator that enjoys exploring game creation using the Rust programming language and Bevy, who's currently making a voxel-based game in the vein of Cube War. In the first round, Tantan made Cat Pong, where you play Pong against a group of cats. Your goal is to get the balls of yarn past the cats to lower their health bar to progress to the next level. While the judges loved the idea of playing Pong against a bunch of cats, the visual aesthetics, or lack thereof in some areas, didn't click with the judges, placing Cat Pong in 3rd place. But in the scope creep round, Tantan came back with a vengeance, doing a massive overhaul on the game, not just in visuals, but also in gameplay and audio as well. Their implementation of the skill tree really helped to enhance the fun and agency of the player, removing some of the randomness that was an issue during the first round. All that saw Tantan taking 2nd place in round 2, only missing out on 1st by a handful of points. WuzzyWizard is an artist and video creator currently studying game design. They make a wide variety of projects using engines like Construct, Unity, and Unreal. In the first round, WuzzyWizard created Castle Wizard, flipping Pong on its side and changing up the formula quite a bit, but still making it feel like Pong. The player can move in all directions and catch the ball, and the goal is to hit the opponent's castle enough times to destroy it. In the first round, the game was lacking music, but the quality of play and the fantastic visuals pushed the game over the top to take 1st place in round 1. In round 2, WuzzyWizard added music, a skill tree, as well as a progression ladder to fight your way through the opponents, giving the game a much needed game flow with a roguelite feel. They defended their 1st place position in round 2, but the lead was by a much smaller margin. That's where we stand right now, but the final round is anyone's game. Tantan and WuzzyWizard will now take part in a head-to-head game jam to see who will be crowned the first Ready Set Jam champion. They will be given a theme and a restriction, and over the next 2 weeks they will have a total of 48 hours to create their game for our judges to play and rate. And for this final round, the theme is Destruction is Creation, and the restriction, Everything Breaks. Let's see how they do.
Oh, we made it! Now comes the hard part. I thought the theme was really hard. Brainstorming it, I really only always came back to one single idea. I knew this idea's scope was way too big, but it was the only thing I could think of, so I went ahead with it anyway. The life of a lone potion maker is hard. You have to gather your resources yourself by distracting them. You know, distraction is creation. You mix the correct ingredients you yourself picked to create specific potions. Now, that's the part of the game I had time to implement. Scope, creep. My idea was that you had to craft these potions so you can sell them in order to pay rent. Maybe you could even use the potions you yourself created to help you gather more resources. This was my core concept. One part of the theme I didn't really fulfill was Everything Breaks. My plans was to have the water pump eventually break down. The pipe start leaking water everywhere, so you need to reconnect the pipe in order to fix it. It didn't end up being much of a game, unfortunately, but I'm pretty happy with the overall polish. That is something I focused a lot on, considering how important polishing the game was from round 1. That's about all I have to say. Let's see what happens now.
So the theme we needed to create this time was Destruction is Creation. I came up with an idea that you are a little astronaut person that crash lands into a planet, and in the process of crashing into the planet, your spaceship breaks. And of course this is a problem. So to get off the planet, you need to build a new spaceship. To do this, you need to destroy the natural resources as well as kill the creatures on the planet and harvest the materials they drop. So you spawn in the middle of the planet, and it just has some very basic terrain generation as well as a spawning system that spawns all the enemies and such. It isn't the most interesting planet, but it's pretty cool either way. Then to make things a little bit more interesting, I added so you could build different buildings that will make the process of rebuilding your new ship a little bit easier. Of course, there's a few problems with the game. For example, I decided to add physics to everything for some reason, which caused the game to lag a bit if you're playing in the browser, or when you win the game freezes for like 1 to 5 minutes before you get the win screen, which is pretty bad. But I'm pretty satisfied with the game overall, and I hope you will enjoy it as well. And with just me and Tantan left, this will be intense.
The build time is up and the games have been submitted. It's time to send them off to our judges to play and rate and see what they think. Each round is scored by 5 judges in 6 categories: art, audio, feel, originality, fun, and overall. The judges will be myself as well as my Twitch community. During the judging time frame, anybody that was in my Discord or Twitch were able to go play the games, leave a rating, and then all of the ratings from the community were averaged into one judge score, which is then combined along with mine and our 3 special guest judges, who are Jonas Tyroller, a fantastic game dev here on YouTube with an upcoming game called Will You Snail, a fast-paced action platformer where an evil AI tries to kill you by predicting your movement. Mrs. Another amazing game dev here on YouTube making a biopunk game in a classic PS1 style. Miz is also the creator of the 4 Game Devs Jam off the same Art Kid series. And our final guest judge, Blackthorn Prod, who like the others is an incredible game dev here on YouTube that's released games like The Dreadful Whispers and Dashing Fire, and most recently, Olo Bolo. As always, thank you to our judges for taking the time out of their schedules to play, rate, and give their feedback. Now on to the games. Tantan's take on the theme and restrictions is the Lone Potion Maker. As the potion maker, you need to go out and collect ingredients by playing a little minigame. As you run by, you pluck the ingredients from the ground and grab them with your mouse to add them to your inventory. Once you've collected your fill, you can head back home to use the potion setup to combine the different ingredients in your cauldron. Fill it up with water and start mixing. The color of the potion changes as you add different items, and when you're satisfied, you can use a bottle to collect the potion, which gives you a message about what it does. Tantan planned to add a selling and rent mechanic to the game, but unfortunately ran out of time. As it stands, it's a cute game where you destroy different ingredients, which leads to new creations. The restriction of everything breaks is a little light, only really pertaining to the ingredients themselves. Let's see what the judges had to say about it. The judges all enjoyed the art for this game. It has a cute, appealing feel, and the water effect for filling up your cauldron is really enjoyable to play with. Miz did call out the map for looking a bit different in terms of consistency, but Blackthorn Prod really liked it. Another judge agreement is that the audio is really well done. The music fits the vibe of the game fantastically, and all the sound effects are very satisfying, adding a good amount of polish to the overall experience. The feel of grabbing items and moving them around for the most part is nice and responsive, as well as playing with the potion combination mechanic. Adding ingredients changes the hue of the potion to make for some fun discovery. Mixing that discovery with the cute art and the nice sounds makes the whole thing feel just really nice. The game has an interesting twist on collecting resources, requiring catching the item after plucking them. It can be a little tough at times to catch, but it's a nice twist on just pressing a button over an item to collect it. Due to Tantan running out of time, the fun gets cut a bit short. The buildup of collecting items and making your potions is all there, but there isn't much to do with them once you have them, which makes the game loop missing that extra step after you create the potion. Overall, the judges liked the concept and where it was going. It is a bit unfortunate that the game loop itself didn't get fully finished. We'll see if the scores in the other categories can help keep Tantan in it. Planet Crash finds the player broken down on a desert planet. As the player, you need to shoot the enemies and rocks to collect resources, which you can then throw at your base to build different machines, gaining upgrades and eventually repairing your ship. There's a fairly large map to explore and a good amount of resources to find. You'll eventually be able to build a drill to mine resources for you. But the one thing it can't find is the energy core, which is being protected by a camp of space pirates. Once you've collected all that you need, you repair your ship and escape. The game does well keeping to the theme and restriction with all of the enemies and rocks being destructible, with their drops being used to create things at the different machines. Like in the first two rounds, the art is great with super cute sprites and effects. Both Jonas and Miz had a bit of an issue with the UI, either being a little hard to read at times or just feeling like it didn't mesh well with the rest of the game. The game does offer a decent variety in terms of enemy types as well as terrain, although Blackthorn Prod felt the ground was a bit flat feeling and would have loved to have seen some texture to kind of tie it all together. Like WuzzyWizard's first round game, this one lacks music or any ambient sound. There are sound effects for standard interactions like shooting, taking damage, and destruction, but outside of that, it's a bit quiet feeling with no sounds like footsteps or anything when you're walking through the world. As you upgrade your weapon and fight more, you'll be shooting quite a bit, which can get a bit repetitive and overpowering hearing the same shooting sound over and over again. Unfortunately, all the judges seem to experience some form of lag or jittery camera, which really hurt the overall feel of the game for everyone. In the video, it may not be as apparent because it's recording in 30 frames a second, but playing on a standard 60Hz or higher monitor, it was pretty apparent. Miz claimed to never quite get the hang of combat, and Blackthorn Prod would have liked some more feedback for things like enemies dying, the player taking damage, and a little screen shake as well. The game has a nice take on combining a basic top-down shooter with a base building game. You have some really nice decisions to make about what to upgrade first and what you would like to go after, which adds some nice variety to the basic shoot-shoot move, as Blackthorn Prod put it. While the game is fun, it feels a bit basic at parts and can get fairly grindy. At a certain point, you're shooting more and more rocks to gain more resources without too much change or challenge. The map is also fairly large, so if you don't find the one core on the level during your resource gathering like I didn't, you then just search around the whole map with all of your upgrades completed to find that one item you still need to complete the game. Overall, the judges enjoyed the game, but there's this feeling that it could have been a bit more. It works well in the art department, but more polish would have been nice, and there's a definite lack in the audio department, as well as the stuttery camera, which hurt the enjoyability a fair bit. And that's the feedback. Let's see how the voting went. Because this is so close, I'm going to show you the actual score breakdown so you can see just how neck and neck it actually is. Each game is rated on a scale of 1 to 5 in each of the 6 categories, and the dev with the highest score at the end is the winner. Both games tie in the art category. WuzzyWizard takes a huge hit in the audio category for having no music and repetitive sounds. Tantan takes the game feel section by a bit, mostly due to the judges having issues with lag in WuzzyWizard's game. Originality evens out once again with both games receiving the same score. WuzzyWizard then takes a big victory in the fun section due to Tantan's unfinished game loop. And finally, in the overall category, WuzzyWizard takes the category pretty easily. But in the end, the winner is the game with the highest point total across all categories, which means that by 1 point, Tantan is the first winner of Ready, Set, Jam. When looking at the scores for each category, the audio was the real deciding factor. No music in Planet Crash was a huge hit to the category score for WuzzyWizard, unfortunately. I couldn't think of a more exciting ending to the very first ever Ready, Set, Jam. WuzzyWizard, you're a fantastic game designer and you've made some amazing stuff for this competition. But unfortunately in this round your game came up ever so short. Thank you so much for taking part, and I look forward to seeing all of the amazing things you make in the future. And a huge congratulations to Tantan. Your game may not have come out as intended, but your overall design and polish was able to push it just enough to get it into the first place spot. Congratulations. And that's gonna do it for this first series of Ready, Set, Jam. A massive thank you to all of our contestants as well as our judges for taking time out of their schedules to take part. Please be sure to go check out their YouTube channels as well as give them a subscription. Links to everybody as well as our winner Tantan will all be down in the description. Congratulations again, Tantan. We'll be back soon with 4 brand new game designers to put to the test, so be sure to subscribe and hit the bell button if you want to make sure that you're notified when that video comes out. I've been your host Vimlark, and I will see you next time on Ready, Set, Jam. I need to thank Gingerbeard4251 and Mr. Boxmonkey for all of their help. Without them, none of this would be happening. If you would like to help support the channel, keep these going and see more, giving the video a like, subscribing, and hitting the bell are all amazing ways to help out. Sharing this video with others you think would like it would also be immensely appreciated. If you would like to go a step further, I have a Patreon where you can directly support these videos, like these awesome people: Clone13, Cortland Masop, Curdle Games, Nightfall, It's Jeppy, Jed, Kevin Haugau, Killboy Gaming, Motzi Makes, Nazar Salim, Salty Pretzel, Scott Hansen, Soapy Gnome, Straight Up Gruntled, and Warren Stephen Rose. I really can't thank you all enough for the support. If you would like to chat with me, the best place to do that is on my live streams at twitch.tv/Vimlark. We have a super chill community and I would love to talk with you. And we also have a Discord full of even more incredible people. If you've hung around to this point in the video, you're the best. Thank you so much. I'll talk with you next time. Have a good one. Later.